Guys, let me have a heart-to-heart talk with you guys. I didn't really prepare anything, but I definitely wanted to talk about this. Let's talk a little bit about Palantir. So earlier today, I was doing a live, and somebody says, Adam, are you selling your shares, sir? He called me sir. A lot of people from different countries always call you sir. Dope. And my answer is no, I'm not selling Palantir shares. I still have Palantir shares. So a couple of warnings. Number one, the people you're following on Twitter, YouTube, and other social media applications and platforms, you got to be very careful who you're listening to. A lot of the people that you're following on social media, the experts, are not vested in their investment. So I'm not going to say it's not an investment. They're just not vested. What does that mean? The proportionate size of their portfolio is not invested into that specific stock. In this case, Palantir. But this happens in crypto all the time, different stocks, so on and so forth. So it's very easy for somebody to talk or drop, so on and so forth. And if it's not a significant part of your portfolio, you're almost happy when things go down so that you can buy when it comes cheaper. That's one. Two, Palantir is a long-term hold. Some people on Twitter are like, oh, Palantir is a long-term hold. And a lot of these people that are like, oh, long-term, all of a sudden they sell. Very similar to what happened with Cathie Wood. So let me ask you a question. If you guys are long-term investors, why are you selling? Aren't you in it for the long haul? Palantir has a very sticky business once they actually get the clients. It takes a while to get clients for Palantir, both government sector, defensive and non-defensive, and commercial. Why? There's a lot of different options out there that you can use. Palantir is not the only game in town for certain things. For example, Snowflake, C3AI, Datadog, Databricks, there's a million of these. Like, not a million, but there's definitely like half a dozen companies that do similar to what Palantir does. They offer it. The difference is Palantir offers a very expensive product that's an enterprise. It's not one little piece. And these other companies, they can solve a specific problem, a small piece of the puzzle. But Palantir is the entire jigsaw puzzle. You understand what I mean? They're all the pieces. All 52 pieces is Palantir. While another platform can solve, maybe they can solve the edges, right? They can make the frame of the puzzle, but they can't get the inside guts of the puzzle. And that's the difference. So it's very hard to land a Palantir contract, and it takes a lot of time to explain and differentiate the difference between Palantir and their so-called competitors. So when you take everything into account, no, there's no competitors to Palantir. But a lot of corporations and even government officials, they wouldn't know that. For them, it's all the same. Just like there's no difference between an iPhone and an Android. There's no difference between a Mac and a Windows, right? For them, there's no difference, but there obviously is differences. I'm not going to argue which one is better or worse, but there's differences. And I'm just giving you an example. Like, there's no difference between a Ford EV because it's an electrical vehicle or a Tesla because it's also an electrical vehicle. Yeah, they both do the same thing, but they're different. It's not exactly the same. So this is kind of the dynamics of Palantir. Now, when you digest the numbers, their government business is not growing. This is true. However, they're not the only government business that's not growing. They actually had 13% growth, while Raytheon, I believe, had like 4% year over year. And Lockheed and Martin, for example, like -4, -9, something like that. Shout out to Arnie, who has the best slides, man. This guy is a freaking genius. Hella smart. And he's going to be on my Patreon on Sunday teaching a class about reading financials and how he comes up with his slides. Very, very smart guy. Definitely check out his channel. Him and Emmanuel, we did a live. So if you take into account the government business, Palantir grew 13% year over year. And a lot of their competition, just taking into account government, did not grow as much as they did, which tells you something. So when you dig deeper into the numbers, yes, they're disappointing. Yes, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not saying the numbers were great. However, I'm also very harsh on them right now. I love them. I'm staying with them. But once you dig deep into the numbers, it's not a specific micro for Palantir. So it's not a microcosm. It's a macrocosm of the entire government contract sectors. Now, what exactly brings up Palantir is their commercial side. That's what's bringing up Palantir against the government contractors. So if you look at it like that, Palantir didn't do bad. Now, they have guidance for next quarter, and their guidance is literally like 0.4%, 0.5%, something like that. They're going to be stagnant for next quarter, and they were stagnant this quarter essentially. So for around half a year, they have no movements. They're working on two enormous contracts right now. Starting October 1st is the new cycle of government contracts. Chris told me that. Shout out to Chris Patel. There's going to be a lot of government spending. That government spending, the contracts, they would be signed in October. For example, if they start in October, they would be signed in October or November or whatever, sometime in Q4 of 2022. We would not actually feel the effect in sometime in the middle of 2023. Why? When you sign a contract, you then need to invoice it. Invoices, if you work in any type of business, usually take 30 to 90 days. When you're working with government, it's more like 60 days at a minimum to like half a year to collect your money. So government is like 60 to 120, something like this. It's insane. 180, whatever. So if the government spending opens up, if they open up the faucet in October, and we are actually working on getting contracts, which it seems like we are, and it seems like we're doing a lot of work without getting paid for the work right now, then it's safe to assume that we bill for them, and sometime in quarter 1, quarter 2, and quarter 3 of 2023, there should be an influx of money coming into Palantir, specifically government contracts. And if that happens, well, then the price is going to go up. So there's a couple of ways of looking at this. Number one is, can you explain why the government segment slowed down? Yes, you can explain it. Is it specifically only Palantir? No, it is not specifically only Palantir. Those Palantir have a robust pipeline of potential projects. Absolutely, they have a extremely complex and robust pipeline of possible projects. So then you got to say, okay, everything is a lagging indicator, as I just said. And then you got to try to predict, well, when is the money supposed to come in? For me, sometime between now and the end of 2023. That is my time frame for Palantir, which gives me approximately a year to a year and a half or a year and 1 quarter to see if Palantir is really about it, if it actually, walks the walk, or is Palantir just talking? Are they flapping or making progress? I believe they're going to be very successful, and I put my money where my mouth is, and I keep investing in Palantir. I am what you call vested in Palantir. So with all that said, there are a lot of positive news that's coming out of Palantir. We know they're working with Tesla on the low, and we know that they're working with Starlink on the low. Right now, there's 2 huge contracts. NHS, that's going to possibly be worth 10-year over $1 billion. And the Titan program, people don't realize how absolutely massive it is. I was on Amit's Live earlier, and I was talking about the Titan program. That's not just one operating system for the Army. That's an operating system that literally brings together the smaller operating systems of different military branches, of different domains, right? It's not just ground. It's space, it's land, it's air, sea, so on and so forth. So between the NHS, that's over $1 billion, and between the Titan program, I think that's more than $1 billion, but let's also call it a $1 billion contract. That's a lot of money. So that's $2 billion over the next 10 years alone. Probably more if you ask me. Let me address this thing. People are like, oh, Alex Karp needs to go. He doesn't know how to deal with them. And what I'm going to tell you is this. Alex Karp is the one that built the company over the course of 19 years. You guys are forgetting that. Alex Karp is literally a billionaire who made this company what it is. Alex Karp knows that he has the best product, and he built a $20 billion company. If you're Alex Karp, just think about it, and you're a billionaire who built something from scratch, and somebody keeps asking you questions, but you've been through this for the last 10 years. Some years are up, some years are down, but you're averaging that 35%, which you're telling people, guys, I've been through this. I have experience through this. We will make the numbers. And people keep asking you the same thing. How would you feel? How would you feel? Why do you think his reaction is like that? Because he knows what's up. And it's proven. He's proven. You guys might not think it's proven. You guys only don't like him because it's hurting your pockets. But in reality, he didn't just start the company. We're not just a year and a half old since we IPO'd. We're 19 years old, nearly 20 years old. He's been pushing the Palantir gospel. He knows a thing or two about the company. We are a little bit unlucky right now, and we're getting those bad couple of years. However, let's give him some slack and let's believe in him. Not giving you advice. Do whatever the hell you want. I'm keeping my Palantir. And I told you, but I'm not a maxi, right? Like, there are red flags that would take me off of Palantir. The red flags is not getting NHS, God forbid, not getting Titan, God forbid, and 2023, no fruits. No fruits of our labor. So I hope this helps you guys. I just wanted to have a really, really heart-to-heart chat with you guys. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hey, and if somebody says something bad about Palantir, Berg is out.